Good morning, and thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Paresma Patel, and I'm a Division Director in CDER's Office of Pharmaceutical Quality. Today, I'll be giving an agency perspective on chemistry, manufacturing, and controls, regulatory considerations, and resources. Today, I'll start off with a brief definition of pharmaceutical quality. I'll discuss how chemistry, manufacturing, and controls, or CMC, changes through clinical development. I'll provide some key regulatory definitions. I'll touch on some specific considerations for drug substances and drug products. And I'll end with important guidance documents and resources. I'd like to start with an overview of the mission and vision of CDER's Office of Pharmaceutical Quality. Everyone deserves confidence in their next dose of medicine. Pharmaceutical quality assures the availability, safety, and efficacy of every dose. One challenge to the manufacturing aspects of an application is that it covers the entire life cycle of the product and is often rapidly changing from an IND stage of development to commercialization. During preclinical stages of development to the point of IND submission, there is typically limited CMC information. As a product's development proceeds through the phases of clinical development to pivotal clinical studies, significant CMC development is happening. CMC development has to be at a stage to assure consistent manufacturability to support a marketing application. Following approval, the CMC information continues to change as suppliers or manufacturers may change, and the manufacturing processes may continue to be optimized. Throughout this process, the CMC team is meeting with sponsors to advise on key aspects of CMC development as they move closer to commercialization. This includes early-stage interactions such as Interact and pre-IND meetings. The CMC team is involved for Type B meetings after each phase of development, and CMC-focused meetings can happen throughout clinical development. Most CMC-focused meetings typically happen around the end of Phase 2. I'll provide a couple of key regulatory definitions that can be found in the Code of Federal Regulations. Shown here is the definition of drug substance, and to summarize, the drug substance is the active ingredient that provides the pharmacological activity or direct effect for the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of a disease. This is essentially the active component of the drug product that affects the human body. The drug product is the finished dosage form, and it contains the drug substance, and it may or may not contain other ingredients. CMC information required for an IND submission are outlined in the Code of Federal Regulations. The main text of the CFR can be broken down into a few requirements for CMC. They include description, composition, and controls of the drug substance and drug product, information on the manufacturer, the manufacturing process, and data to support stability, information to assure identity, quality, purity, and strength of the investigational drug. The regulations specifically emphasize the identification and controls of the new drug substance and raw materials for an initial Phase 1 submission. Guidance documents are routinely published on FDA's websites. These documents provide FDA's current thinking on a topic and outline information that should be provided in IND and NDA submissions. Guidance documents clarify the type, extent, and reporting of CMC information to ensure quality of the proposed clinical studies. These documents help to outline the data needed for regulatory development and are only recommendations. If sponsors veer away from this advice, they should provide justification and scientific reasoning and meet with FDA if needed. I'll start off focusing on the drug substance or active pharmaceutical ingredient information that FDA generally expects as part of an IND application. First is general information. This contains information about the structure, molecular weight, formula, and the source of the drug substance. The manufacturing process section includes a description of the chemistry for how a drug substance is made and includes both a flow diagram and a written description for each step of the manufacturing process. The characterization data section includes both structural characterization data and characterization of physical-chemical properties. The impurities section provides available information on observed and potential impurities. Sponsors should specifically address differences in impurities between toxicology and proposed clinical batches. The controls part of CMC defines a release specification. which is a predetermined set of criteria used to release batches of drug substance for use. This section includes information on the batches intended for use in the clinical study and those that were used in the toxicology study. And finally, data to support stability for a drug substance should be provided in the stability section. Preliminary stability data is typically sufficient for an initial IND submission. I would like to now touch on specific information that is needed for a drug product compared to a drug substance as part of an IND submission. For the drug product, it's important that we have a description of the dosage form and any information to justify the safety of a novel technology or any complex drug product formulation. It's particularly important to clarify any patient administration information for the proposed dosage form. For example, a drug product that is administered parenterally, it'd be important to consider compatibility issues with any administration devices or solutions that may be used to dilute the drug product prior to administration. The quantitative composition of the drug product should be provided, and this includes a list of the inactive ingredients or excipients. We ask for information on the compendial status or quality of those excipients. If novel excipients are used, additional CMC information may be needed to assure quality of those excipients. Additional information may also be needed to assure safety of any animal-derived excipients. If using novel excipients, we generally recommend discussing your approach during a pre-IND meeting to assure adequate data is provided in the IND submission. The drug product manufacturing process should be described with both a brief written description and a flow diagram. And additional information on the sterilization process should be provided if it's applicable to your drug product. Similar to the drug substance, the control of drug product is essentially a specification that includes a set of criteria to demonstrate quality of the drug product prior to releasing batches. This section includes information on impurities that are specific to the drug product, as well as the proposed batch data for use in the intended clinical study. Finally, information on how the drug product is packaged and preliminary stability data should be provided in the IND submission. Some of the CMC issues that are likely to lead to clinical holds of ongoing studies include the following. Questions related to adulteration or purity of the materials used to manufacture the drug substance or the drug product. If the impurity profiles are not sufficiently characterized or the safety of the impurities is not justified by supportive non-clinical studies. Any impurities that are known to be highly toxic or pose potential risks to patients. Unreliable analytical methods that may undermine the confidence in the data provided in the IND. Insufficient batch data to demonstrate manufacturability of either the drug substance or drug product. Any significant stability issues. Lack of sterility assurance or endotoxin controls could pose significant safety issues or risks to patients. Challenges with the drug product formulation, such as formation of particulate matter upon storage of a parenteral drug. And finally, issues related to cGMPs at the manufacturing facilities. One way to avoid issues at filing of an IND includes consistent communication with the FDA through industry meetings and paying close attention to the advice given during those meetings. Prior to an IND submission, every sponsor is granted at least one pre-IND meeting. As part of this meeting, the sponsor of the IND submits a brief package that describes the background of the product and proposed clinical development. CMC-specific focus areas during a pre-IND meeting include the following: whether the manufacturing process and characterization data appear reasonable, the acceptability of the drug substance and drug product controls or specifications, the overall stability data and stability design, whether the impurity levels and controls appear reasonable for phase 1 studies, adequacy of the toxicology batches to support use of the proposed clinical batches, and any overall potential gaps or hold issues that the CMC team may find. I would like to summarize with some regulatory do's and don'ts. Do read and apply available guidance documents. Meet and engage with FDA early, especially for complex drug substances and drug products where there may be little applicable guidance documents available. Ask focused questions relevant to specific regulatory challenges during meetings. Address FDA advice and comments that are provided during development. Engage the CMC team early. Assure quality suppliers of raw materials, excipients, and other aspects of your product, and pay close attention to the CGMP requirements. FDA spends significant time providing comments during IND review and during meetings. Don't ignore FDA advice and input. I would like to end with a few resources, including important websites as resources, IND-focused guidance documents with CMC advice, and resources for expedited programs. This slide provides resources that are specific to control strategies for impurities that could be used during development. With that, I would like to end my section today, and I will pass it on to Dr. Emily Warren, who will be providing a non-clinical overview.